Around 1:15 this afternoon, we received a report of an explosion, as you can see right behind us, on Santa Fe in between 3rd and 4th Avenue. Unfortunately, we don't have an exact address of where the explosion took place. As you can see, the devastation behind us is pretty significant. As we work to eliminate any hazards that we have behind us, we're working to address the life and injuries that have been affected by this. We know that there have been 10 injuries to this point, one critical. Denver Health and Hospitals has transported these individuals and is evaluating those that remain at the scene. We are unsure if we have accounted for every individual, but as we continue our investigation, we'll give you updates if there are additional injuries or victims. At this point, we are glad to say we have no reports of loss of life. What we do know anytime we have an explosion like this is that the dangers are significant. We have explosive dangers due to the natural gas that is lingering within the buildings, and we also have a collapse potential due to the devastation and the damage that was created by the explosion itself. As you can see behind us, this fourplex, which we believe this building to be, has received damage throughout all 4 buildings and across the street. We don't have an accurate picture for the amount of devastation and damage that has been affected by this explosion, but as we get further and more specific information, I'll be sure to provide it to you. Right now, we're still in the investigation phase. We're still in the securing phase where we're trying to secure the building so our firefighters can operate safely as they continue the searches for any possible victims that might be inside. At this time, I'll entertain some questions that you might have.
Greg, you ever see anything this big in Denver in the last, 10 years?
Not in the last 10 years, but we had something very similar to this about 3 blocks up on Santa Fe, probably 15 years ago.
Greg, what are the range of injuries, types of injuries, burns? What are we talking here? I know you said 1 critical, 10 injured.
Yeah, so I know that there to be burn injuries and to be blunt trauma due to the force of the explosion. So the injuries are pretty, as they're being evaluated, they're pretty far ranged right now.
Do you know if any of them are children?
I have no reports of any children injured.
Any damage to any other structures or vehicles in the area?
Yes, there was moderate damage to building across the street, which we are evaluating. We don't believe it to be a structural issue, but we also have damage to cars that are adjacent to the explosion itself.
Were there any victims trapped inside? Or
yes, we had 1 victim trapped that our firefighters removed, but again, we are searching to, and we hope we don't find any other individuals trapped inside of that rubble. But our goal now is to not only reduce the chances of additional explosions, and we also have an active fire, which I failed to mention, that they are working to extinguish right now. And as we know, the vapor products from the gas and the fire are not, they're not conducive. So we're working to extinguish that fire and then to get that structure as safe as possible so we can continue to search and hopefully determine exactly what happened.
Where is the fire?
I'm sorry, I don't know that. We won't know until the investigation is complete.
You're hearing there was some concern about a school nearby? Do you know anything about that?
I do not.
Have you determined where the natural gas line is coming from? Is it part of one of those residences? Which was the line that was leaking to cause this explosion?
And I'm sorry, until we get further, until we can start to remove some of the debris, which is going to be necessary, we'll have greater clues, or we'll have a better ability to determine exactly what the cause is. But normally, natural gas lines either come from the main street or from the alley. And it's just going to be dependent where the branch lines are from. So we don't know where the main line came from, but as we go through the securing of the building and making sure everybody is okay, finding out hopefully what caused this explosion.
Has the gas line been shut down?
We're working with Xcel Energy. They are assisting us to eliminate not only the natural gas potential, but also the electric potential that runs through the alleys, as is quite common, not only in Denver, but in most municipal areas that have alley.
Was anybody injured from shrapnel?
I have no reports, but I believe it to be likely.
Was the victim that was trapped the one that was in critical condition?
Beg your pardon?
Was the victim that was trapped the one that was in critical condition?
That I do not believe that is our person that is in critical condition. I believe that to be someone else.
Of the injured, were they all inside, or were there some people outside?
And I wish I knew exactly, but it's somewhat chaotic right now. And hopefully you guys can understand as we go through this initial phase. But we know there were people inside. We know we had people trapped, but I'm not sure until I get further information. I won't be able to tell you if everyone was inside or if some people were outside.
It seems like pretty quickly you determined that this was a natural gas explosion. How did you guys, what signs show you that was the case?
Well, I will find that out for you. I don't know exactly, but I can tell you that as we sit here with this press conference, I still smell lingering pockets of natural gas that are filtering through this area. So that's just my intuitive nature, but I also have had reports that were on the radio that gave that indication, but I don't know specifically how we got that information, and I'll find out for you. All right.